Well, hello and welcome to another video by AntiquesArena. My name is Splott. Got a good little video for you today, very interesting. As you know, I went up to Malvern about a month ago purchasing some seriously nice antiques and collectibles. And whilst up there, I bought a pair, well, let me show you. I bought these. Now, I believe they are carved marble, 19th century panels. Now, the problem I got with them is they are full of mold. I don't know if you can see it on the inside of the glass, but it is literally covered in caked in mold. So they need to be opened, cleaned, but while they're open and I'm cleaning them, I'm going to then take some photographs of the names and the dates so we can find out who's made them, check that they're marble, no resin, and put them back together. Now, this is a typical lifestyle of being an antique dealer. It's one of the things you have to do. Now, I saw these up in Malvern, and my eye says they're good quality, they're marble, they're beautiful, buying them. But if you're not as experienced, you've got to then think to yourself, well, they look quite special. Do I take a chance? Now, there's a chance they're resin underneath here, there's a chance they're marble, alabaster, and so forth. So I'm going to take them apart, and we're going to find out exactly who's made them, what date they were made, what they're made of, and then give them a clean and put them back together. Once they're back together, we'll then do some research on finding out finding out on the value of the makers. So that's what today's video is all about. Giving you a glimpse of what it's like to be an antique dealer. If I show you this one, you might be able to see it just a little bit better with the mold. If not, I'll splice in a photograph. You can see it there on the glass, on the inside the glass. So I can't sell them as they are. Plus, I need to get the name and the date off them by way of photograph. So we can have a little fun. We're going to strip them down, give them a clean. Once they're clean, take some photographs of the details, and then we can do some research. You're going to watch me clean them. You're going to watch me research them and find out what they're worth. I'll tell you now, I stole them. They come in at £100 for the pair. Now, what could they be worth? Depending on the name, sky's the limit. They could be worth 200 to 300, 400 to 600, 800 to 1200. Until we find out who's made them and the date, we won't know. But I can guarantee you, as long as these are marble or alabaster pieces, they are going to be worth more than the £100 I paid for them. They're quite special. So should we get to it? Strip them down and have a little look. Okay, I'm only going to film the one because obviously the process is the same for both, but you get to see basically what's involved. So if I add this little camera, there we go. So turn it over. Now this paper is original. You want to try and save this paper. First things first, let's get these off. Again, I'll be using all the original stuff that comes off it back on it. So these wires, these pins, the nails, everything that's involved inside will be reused in putting it back together so it looks as original as possible. Give you a little hint of what I did up in Malvern. Do you see this here? Put my finger through it and just peeled a little bit back just so I could reveal the stone. Just to give me a little bit of reassurance that it weren't at least resin. Now I want to keep this as neat as I can because, as I said, I'm going to be reusing it. Now the way to put this back on is with a paper, a brown paper picture backing. I don't actually have any of that. I got brown parcel tape, but that doesn't do the same thing. It's so glossy, it's just not right. Wow. that's going to take a bit of recovering. I may not be able to save that. Now this marble panel is just fitted in loose. Now they are actually, let me see if I can get it back here for you. Just around here, there is a signature. There you go, you can just see it there. I'm going to see if I can find out who that is. Well, it's really hard to read. It looks like F. Stone. I can't pick up what that is. I may have to open the other one just to read it. It's very hard to read. Let me see if I can get a photograph now. Zoom in on a photograph. So there is the, is he going to come through? Yes, it is. There's the photograph of that's on this one. We'll do some research on that in just a minute, see if we can read it tidy and get it done. Are they marble or are they plaster? Okay, so we got a pair of plaster, no marble. Unfortunately, looking at them under the eyeglass, they're not marble. These are plaster. So they're going to be a plaster copy of the original done in marble, which is going to make a hell of a difference on the value. Of course, to show you the gamble you've got to take. Now, these have still got good age. I can't see the date on this one. I'm going to open the next now, and we're going to take a little look at the other one. Oh, hang on, I got more writing. I found more writing over here. On a bright side, the fact they're plaster means I can wash them. Now I'm going to wash them with plain soapy water and a sponge and a toothbrush. Let's get some photos of this. What's over here? Well, they're dated 1847. So, just for you to have a little look-see. There's the date, 1847. So we're going to have to do some research on who they by. So these are going to be washed in plain soapy water and put back together. Now, I didn't want to, if I could, take this center panel out because it is perfectly fitted in. However, I've got to be able to get to the glass to clean the glass. Can't get that side, let's try this side. you've got to be careful because you want to reuse these pins. You don't want to put new nails in. I would imagine some of you are now wondering whether I'm sorry I paid the £100 for them, now that they're plaster and not marble. And the upshot is, not really. They're still 19th century. Now, the original marble roundels may have been 1847, so these could be later. But they're going to be Victorian, no doubt, question about that in my mind. The 19th century. Come on now, you. Be nice. This one does not want to come out right. Let's give it a little help. Nope, I gotta get these two. There we go. Now, as you can see, this is fitted. It's got some sort of velvet on here, so I can now wash this down as well. This backing off. So I think that backing is gone. I'll leave it on there. I'm not going to get rid of it. It's the original backing. Now, if I hold this up, you can probably see now all the mold that's on the inside of this glass. All I'm going to use, a cheap branded glass cleaner. And I don't use kitchen roll or cloths. I tend to find toilet roll is very good at making sure there's no streaks and really absorbent to take all the windowing out. Look at that, first wipe. Absolutely stinking. I'm going to get a bowl of water in a minute, and I will wash the plaster in front of you as well. We'll clean everything up before we put it back together. We get right into the corners now, so underneath the edge, see the dirt. That I'm happy with. Now, bear in mind, it's still going to be dirty on the other side of the glass. So when you're cleaning in, you still see dirt. Don't think, oh, I got to keep scrubbing and break the glass. The other side's dirty as well. So we've now prepared the inside of the frame ready for taking these back. I'm going to get a bowl of soapy water now, and we're going to wash the other two pieces down. Now, the downside with this is I can't put it back. Once I wash it, I can't put it back together. Because if I wash it and put it back together, all that moisture is going to be stuck inside the frame and it's going to come onto the glass. So I'll probably film putting the glass back together and then splice it in when they've dried in a day or two. So if I have an outfit change, that's why. But I'm going to film washing them now and then do some research and probably have a little bit spliced in of me rebuilding the frame up. Okay, I was very limited on what I had in the shop to use as a bowl, so I've literally just got this mixing bowl off the shelf, put some soapy water in it, and we're going to have a go cleaning this plaster up. Now, here's our panel. So it looks, doesn't look too bad, but it is stinking dirty. So, nice soft toothbrush. Use a toothbrush to get in all the cracks, all the creases. Don't submerge your plaster in the water or you're going to damage it. I'm using as little water as I can to get away with. I got a nice soft sponge. This isn't going to take it back to a white, but you don't want that. You want it to have a colour of age. I'm taking all the mould off that's actually on the piece. Just rinsing it off because of all the soap suds. And then a standard towel. Give it a little dab dry. It's not going to be dry off this. This is going to have to sit now on the side to dry. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm getting all the soap suds and anything left out of all the creases. So we've got a nice, clean, mold-free panel. I'm going to take some photographs of that in a minute now, and I'll splice them in so you can see what it actually looks like close up with all the details. It's quite beautiful. And we'll see what we can get. Right, so that's the panel washed. For this, I'm simply going sponge squeezed out, almost dry, next to nothing left in there, and just a little wipe over to lift that mold off. Just want to lift the mold off, that's all I want to do, because it's very moldy. But I don't want to do any more than that. So just a quick wipe. Get a nice, clean, crisp finish on this. Let's stay it on that. So there we have it. Have a nice, clean frame or mount. So the frame's cleaned, the mount is cleaned, and the panel is cleaned. There's no more left to do until it dries. Okay, so it's cleaned and dried the frames and the plaster panels. Now I've had a really good look under my glass, now they're clean. I can clearly see they are by Edward W. Wyon, who was a British artist from 1811 through to 1885. Now, coincidentally, I've already got a piece of his work. Take a look at this now. There on my website is a bronze panel that used to be sat in a marble frame, but the marble frame all broke. But we have a solid bronze panel here, dated 1849 and signed by E W Wyon. How's that for coincidence? Let me give you a little look at this panel here that I got. So as you can see, beautiful with the cherubs. You can see it all signed down around the bottom there. And should have, if I can move that, there. So you can see, where's the one that's signature? Well, anyway, it's hard to read on here. Maybe I ought to improve my photograph on the website. But it's fully signed up around the base there. E W Wyon 1849. And for that little copper panel there, I'm asking 225, which to be honest, it was very cheap because I found that identical one sold through the sale room in a wooden frame for 400. So, you know, I thought 225, they can put it in their own frame. Okay, so we've now, okay, so I've dried everything, so we're going to put it all back together. That's the where we're at now. So nice clean frame. This has all been cleaned up, looking lovely, nice and clean. And make sure I put it in the right way around. There we go, there we go, beautiful. Now, we need to put some of these nails back in. So, get a good grip of that there. And we're going to put one in, put one in down the bottom here a minute before we go any further. Give it a squeeze, that didn't work. Pain in the arse. There we go. It can be annoying sometimes doing these. I put it the right bit on the way. Yes. Let's go to this side then. Right, so put them in the old hole there. Already, you can see that I'm lifting out by that centerpiece. I left those two in that side, so I just had to fold it under, and one single tack there has already got it secured into position. There we go, look at that, already. And that was only 2 tacks this side, 2 tacks that side. I need those 2 for the other piece. So we're now going to get our panel, our nice clean panel. Now, some of you were going to say you shouldn't have washed the plaster. I had to. They were covered in mold. It was actually growing on the figures. So they had to be washed. If they'd been marble, I wouldn't have even hesitated in washing them. But being plaster, you know, I was a bit dubious, but they had to be done because they were minging. There we go. Now what I would like is more tacks, but they stuck it in with tape. So I'm going to have to use tape for now. And I might put some tacks in at a later stage. Just to hold it in position. Turn him over and make sure he's up the right way a minute. Yes, beautiful. So it's held in position there. Now, I'm not happy with this backing at the moment. I'm not going to use this because it's going to ruin it. Put that on there, it's going to look terrible. You need the proper paper backing to go on here and finish it off tidy, but I'm going to also have to put some along here to repair that. So it's going to have a couple of strips across there and then the border. But at least then you'll have the original paper on the back. So we ain't losing nothing from that. We haven't detracted from it. A little spray and a little wipe over. Now, I have had a little look whilst these have been drying. And E W Wyon created these panels in bronze, in marble, in plaster, in wax, in reconstituted plaster with reconstituted marble, which is basically marble that's been ground down into a dust and then compacted back up. And the prices vary somewhat terrible. So there we have the article cleaned, photographed and finished. All I need to do is some brown tape around here to secure all this backing down tidy and put the wire back on. Once that brown sticky tape is on the sides and across the center, then the wire's on as well. There is no way that plaster panel is falling out of there. So I'll do the second one now, just quickly. Bent them down fraction. Again, been up on the radiator. I wanted them to be a tight fit. I want them to be a tight fit so that they don't come back out. Because I haven't got tons and tons of pins holding them in place. So again, can lift it up. So there we go, lift him up, no problem at all, he's nice and secure. Next panel, bottom. There we go. Check that. Turn around. Turn the fraction. Making sure it was lined up and straight was very important. I didn't want to put this all back together and have him stood to the side. So I had to make sure he was in position correct. Just tape him down. Chucking the odd one or two extra in there just to make sure it doesn't go nowhere. So that is all taped up and secure. It should. Put my hand there just to make sure it's not going nowhere. So then just fold that back over. Don't know where the other piece has gone. Down on the floor. I'll keep it all together. So once I come to repair it, I will put that back on, and then I'll just put the tape over it. But it'll be the proper picture tape for backing so that it'll look tidy. And there we have them. Beautiful pair of E W Wyon plaster panels. Now, as I've talked, they cost me £100. Told you that already. Would I have paid £100 for them knowing they were plaster? Because originally would I have paid £100 from if I'd known they were plaster? Because originally when I bought them, I thought they were marble. Even when I was stripping them down, I originally thought they'd be marble. Didn't occur to me they were a plaster example. However, the answer is yes. I still think that is a pair worth about £250 retail. That's probably what I'm going to put them on the website. About £275 to take around £250. They're a beautiful pair. The only pair I could find in marble were these on. These here were a pair, but unfortunately there's no price there. They were just a pair of Edward Wyon plaster plaques, 1840s, and they sold. So you couldn't get a price. I tried looking at other websites, and to be honest with you, it was very hard to find plaster. I could find loads of marble, I could find wax, I could find constituted marble, which is basically like cement, where you get all the powder and make it own up. But finding plaster ones are very hard. Now, they're beautiful, they're decorative, they're in wonderful condition, and they're a pair. I don't think I'm going to struggle with £275. £100 outlay, a little bit of work cleaning them up, and they're absolutely stunning. You're going to go up on the website now in the next few weeks once I get the backings done really nice and tidy. Hopefully you've enjoyed having a look at process of stripping them down, cleaning them, and having a little look at the items. If you have enjoyed, guys, I would really appreciate a thumbs up and share. Subscribe to the channel for further content and hit that bell notification for notifications of my future films. That way you won't miss nothing. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.